Hey baby ghoul, that long winding road led us to this field, I'm not entirely sure what it is because everything is shrouded in mist. What do you have there?
Can you read Spanish?
I can try, let's see here. It's in cursive. 10 times 10, that equals 100. 100 yards to the tree. Wait a second. I know where we're at. Look, here's another marker that says the Goonies 1985. This park features prominently in the Goonies along with locations in Astoria and Cannon Beach. The Fratelli family's hideout, the Lighthouse Lounge, was temporarily constructed at Ecola Point, and Mikey used the rocky coastline here to gain clues to the location of One-Eyed Willie's treasure. Gonna try to let the mist let up so we can see some things and show you guys, but this is it. I can't believe we're standing here and this is the weather we have. Oh my gosh.
Wherever I come, bad luck just comes my way. Wherever I go, hard luck is there to stay. Good luck never stays a day. Bad luck's always coming my way.
For today's adventure, we're doing something I've always wanted to do ever since I was a little kid, and that's visit the filming locations to one of my all-time favorite movies, The Goonies. The opening shots of the movie The Goonies took place here inside the county jail, which is now the Oregon Film Museum. We're going to go inside in just a moment, but they do have a few things out here that we want to check out. For instance, they have the Fratelli's Jeep parked out here. And what's really cool, Jessica's back here looking at it, she was getting some photos. They got bullet holes. That is cool. Talk about a nice little touch, right? Peeking inside the Jeep, I noticed that they put a few things in here that if you're a fan of the movie Goonies, you might recognize. Nothing in the front seat, so to speak. I can't see anything. But if we look in the back seat, there's a box of saltines, which Ma Fratelli was eating while she was driving when the police were chasing her. See a little gold coin down there on the floor. But back here, there are some license plates, extra tires, and a gas can. Now that gas can is important. It's really cool that they preserved this building. I mean, not only is it a filming location for The Goonies, one of the all-time greatest 80s movies that ever come out, but it's also a museum of film of all the movies that were filmed here in Astoria. So let's go inside and check it out because I do want to buy something from the gift shop.
Lunchtime. The longer you animals bark, the colder your lunch gets.
Yeah, not so.
Come on, move it out. You two down there. Hey, turkey.
The opening shots of the movie happened right here. How cool is this? The guard would have been walking right down here to this cell, and he turns in here, and this is where Jake would have been hanging at the beginning of the movie. How cool is this, right? I'm geeking out. This is where it all started, the beginning of the Goonies. And check it out. They even have the pipe that he was hanging from. Oh, wow. And the sign that he was wearing around his neck. You schmuck, do you really think I'd be stupid enough to kill myself?
You schmuck. Do you really think I'd be stupid enough to kill myself?
I'm not gonna hang from the pipe, but can definitely wear the sign that he would have been wearing. Other cells down this corridor, they have different props and memorabilia. Here's Data's costume from the movie. Man, I always wanted to have his creations. How cool is that? And look, there's one of the bikes, as well as one of the radios. Man, this is cool. There's one more cell here on the block, and behind glass, well, plexiglass, they have a whole bunch of toys featuring the Goonies. All original. Look at this. There's even a poster right there. How, man, I wish we had all this stuff. Both Jessica and I love our photo opportunities, and here you can get booked inside the same jail as Jake did and take your own picture. And they also have a couple different areas here where you can actually be in the movie yourself, which we're gonna try to do, and if we can do it and put it in our video, I think it'd be kind of cool. Look at this. Baby, I'm in jail. This is my jail face. I love your jail face, your criminal face. That's it. We're both in trouble now. I'm not gonna lie, I absolutely hate reading things inside museums. I love looking at all the different memorabilia, especially when it comes to movies. And they have this little walkway here with all the different characters, like the little cutouts. Look at this. How freaking awesome is this? Oh man, you know, at some point in this video, I'm gonna have to do the truffle shuffle. I mean, you have to, right? If you're gonna be visiting Goonies filming locations. Oh wow, all right, cool. Get to go down behind the jail cell. So this one right here in the middle that I'm passing right now, this is where Jake would have been hanging. Well, pretending to be hanging. This is the pipe. And then the sign right here. But you go down even further. Oh man, how cool. And they have a little one-eyed Willie display. Look at all that treasure. Oh geez Louise, this is cool. I'm loving this. So let's take a look at all the different things that they have here for the Goonies. I love my shirts, I love magnets, and I love little trinkets. And this place has got it all. Look at these things. Right? This is the shirt that I ended up getting. Came in, bought the shirt, put it on, because you just got to, but I got it in black. This one's cool too. Man, it's got the gang on it. Oh wow, this one over here with the pirate ship? Heckins yeah. This one is awesome too. So the Goonies Oregon Film Museum. This one here says the David statue, one of 5 statues used in the Goonies. This David was used in the film before being knocked off the living room table when Data crashes through the screen door. There it is. Here's a very comical scene. Looks like he's still all intact. This one doesn't have a tag on it, but you can tell that it's from the Goonies. Man, I really want this stuff so bad. This one's a little hard to see because it's down on the lower shelves and it doesn't have a tag, but it is the mailbox from the movie. And if I tilt the camera up, you can see in the lid there's a couple people that signed it, including Chunk from the movie. With Jake busting out of jail, we have Ma Fratelli and Francis outside waiting for him in the getaway vehicle. Well, Ma Fratelli is. She's parked the Jeep right about the center of your screen in this little walkway. And Francis has the gas can, and he's creating a diversion by outlining the front of the county jail in gasoline. This is about the shot that we get of Francis pouring the gasoline in front of the county jail. Now, of course, back when they were filming, it didn't say 1914 or 1976. Instead, it just said county jail. This is about the shot that we get of Jake running out the front doors to his family, Ma, Fratelli, and Francis waiting for him. It's kind of comical. I say it's kind of comical because basically as Jake comes out, the getaway vehicle's waiting for him, but for some reason the doors won't work. So he has to climb through the sunroof down into the car, and then they get away. They actually take off down that road, and then the high-speed chase begins. It's a good time. With Jake now broken out of jail, he gets in the Jeep with Francis and Mama Fratelli, and they take off across town on a high-speed chase with the police. Now, you can see the side of the jail, those windows right there with the bars on it, and they come to this intersection, and they take off up this hill. Now, a few things have changed, but this building right here still looks the same. Back here, there are a couple different windows, but if we peek over on the other side of this car, you'll see those windows right there and that door. At the end of the street, they turn this corner and the police start firing at the Fratellis as they speed on down this road right past where I am standing. And it always cracks me up because Mama Fratelli, she's eating a cookie as they chase her. Man, she doesn't have a care in the world. Now it happens real quickly, so you have to look very closely, but they come to right about this intersection, and you can tell it's this intersection because you see this tree right here? It has the same exact shape. And this building over here, you can see that awning. The next scene in the car chase brings them right down this hill. Now our cameras are different, but if you look very, very closely in this scene, you'll see this roof of that house as well as that little peak. But they would have been coming right down this road. The field where Andy and her friends are practicing cheerleading is no longer here. Instead, it is now a parking lot. But if you look closely, you see those three houses? You can see them behind the girls as they're practicing. Which means this street that Andy has her back to, which is on the other side of this field, and that office building right there, is the street that the Fratellis and the police speed down in their high-speed chase. Well, isn't this a busy intersection? This is where Rosalita is crossing the street with her groceries and she almost gets hit by the Fratellis and the police. This was Mouth's house, who was played by Corey Feldman. Now in this scene, he's in the kitchen with his father and he's watching a chase scene on TV. His dad tells him to turn it down, son, and he does. And he still hears the chase scene going on, and that's because out the window just over his shoulder you see a shot down this road right here as the Fratellis and the police drive right by his house. The chase scene brings them all the way to 36th Street, which in the movie it makes sense, but in real life it doesn't, because at the end of 36th Street is the 36th Street Pier. And due to structural damage issues, you can't get on the pier anymore. But you can see them driving out there. It's kind of cool. The next location on our high-speed chase brings us to the Lower Columbia Bowl. And it's this window right here where Chunk is on the other side and he sees the police chase and he smushes his milkshake and his pizza against the window. Sadly, we can't get inside the Lower Columbia Bowl to get the exact shot with the camera behind Chunk watching the police chase. But they would have come right down that road and turned to the right in the direction that arrow is pointing. And how cool is this? It looks like for the 35th anniversary of the Goonies, they had a one-eyed Willie treasure hunt. And right over here in this window, you can actually see this in the scene, but from the other side, they have a picture of Chunk with his milkshake and his pizza up against the window. Oh wow, a police chase. I'm not gonna scream like him. And over here, a little bit, a tidbit of trivia. Hello Goonies treasure hunters, that's us. Here is your clue. What is Chunk's first name? Comment below. The high-speed chase scene between the Fratelli family and the police ends here in Cannon Beach, not too far from Astoria, where the majority of the movie was filmed. And what you're looking at right now is called Ecola Court, that street just behind those three cars. The Fratelli family turned down that street right before they get on to the beach. Now you see those three cars. In the movie, this scene, it's a split second, there are three cars here, and all the buildings that are behind it are gone, except for one. You can make it out. It's that building right there. It's still the same, the roof, everything. Now it's about this angle right here where the Fratellis come down this road, and you can see that building in the center of your screen. A lot has changed, they've done some remodeling, but you can tell it's this scene by the two retaining walls on both sides of this shot, of this scene, including the yellow painted part on the right-hand side. Thinking they successfully escaped the police, the Fratellis stop their Jeep right down here, right before they get onto the sand, and then they hear the sirens again, and then they take off down towards the water. Now what's really cool about this is when they were filming here, supposedly there was a truck rally going on. And as they get down there, the truck rally starts, and they kind of mix in with it, and they go tearing off down the beach on the sand. How cool is that? Now before we get any further in lining up shots of everything that happened here on the beach, I do want to point out that you see that landmass that's just to the left of that building? That's where the Fratelli Hideout is. We're going to visit that a little bit later on. But this is something else. And again, that brings us back to Haystack Rock, which can be seen the entire time the race is going on. You can see it behind them. Oh man. How iconic is this?
Awesome.
This is freaking cool. And speaking of cool, you look cold.
I mean, it's not that bad. I don't like wind. I've never liked feeling the air moving over my skin. The wind can suck it, and no hard feelings.
You look like an alien. A beautiful alien. A creepy alien. Wait, don't go! Now before we leave, we're gonna get as close as we can to Haystack Rock, right down there on the water. And it's really neat because there's people all around enjoying the beach. But straight ahead, there's a whole bunch of people standing there just getting pictures. You see that? It's like a gaggle of people taking photos right up and close to Haystack Rock.
Goonies is a big deal
Right?
for a lot of us.
I can't believe we're actually here in Oregon visiting the Goonies filming locations. I say this all the time, but does it get any cooler than this? Yes, it does. It always does, but this is still cool. This is still very cool. It is very important that if you do decide to come here to visit the filming locations to the Goonies, that you respect the people who live in these houses. It is a private drive. It says do not enter with cars. They ask that no cars allowed. It is okay to walk up. Just be respectful. No trespassing. Just have fun. Don't ruin it for people. This is as close as we're going to get to the actual shot that we're introduced to the Goonies house, the Walsh house, Mikey's house. The camera starts off looking at those houses across the way there, and it slowly pans over here to the left, and you see that telephone pole. And then the Goonies house comes into view, and it is absolutely beautiful. It still looks the way that it did when they were filming here. I mean, a few things have changed. That white fence used to stretch further back the property, and the railing, the steps going up to the porch, they now turn towards the back, but they used to turn towards the front. But for the most part, it's still here. And in the opening scenes, you can tell which room is Mikey's because he's standing, well, he's in his room with a telescope pointing out that window right there off to the sky.
Oh, bummer.
How cool is that? And then right over here, directly across, in the movie it was blue. Now it's not, but this is Data's house.
Hey, Data, don't mess this one up. And prepare for the wings of flight. Oh, screen door. Mikey, the screen.
I can't believe we're actually standing here. This is really cool. And then over here, towards where the fence ends, let's go over this way just a little bit. That's where Chunk did the truffle shuffle. And I'm not doing it. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not doing it.
First, you gotta do the truffle shuffle.
Doing what we do, we've seen a lot of filming locations and a lot of childhood memories taken, marked off the bucket list. This is right up there at the very top. Can't believe I'm standing here. I've been wanting to visit this place ever since I saw the movie The Goonies. I don't want to leave. Do you guys remember how Mikey and the gang tied Josh Brolin's character Brand up in the living room? And then he gets away and he comes outside. Well, there was a boat parked over this way, up at the top of the driveway, and he comes out to get on the bicycle and the tires are flat. So he comes over here in front of this house and he steals the little girl's bike from right here.
What? My new tires! They popped my new tires, the son of a... I owe you one.
And then he goes on down the driveway. Doesn't make it all the way down, but if he did, that's the driveway he would have went down. Now, after leaving Mikey's brother Rand tied up in the house with his own gym equipment, the boys get on their bikes and they head off in search of One-Eyed Willie's treasure. And in doing so, they ride their bikes right down this road right here, which is awesome because this is also the street that the Fratellis and the cops had their high-speed chase at. Now, like I said, this house right here is where Mikey's dad was working. And in this scene, you can see him over here messing with the flag on the flagpole. Just on the other side of these trees is Ecola State Park, where the Fratelli Hideout is. But this street, more importantly, this bend might look familiar to you. This is where the Goonies were riding their bikes and they stopped to line up the rocks. Today, it's almost impossible to line up shots because of how much the wildlife has grown. But this is the shot right here, and you can still see the rocks out there, including that big tree trunk to the right of the screen. That can be seen in this shot as well. This is it, 1, 2, 3 rocks.
That's it, guys. That's it. What's that? 3 rocks out there.
Also, this paved road leading back to Ecola State Park is where Mikey's brother Brand is riding the girl's bicycle. And he has the encounter with the girls and the guys in the car, and they run him off the road. And it's right over here in this area around this bend where that happens. It's crazy how all these filming locations here in the park are all really close together. I mean, it makes sense. As a filmmaker and you're coming out here with a crew and your actors, you don't want to have them go all over God's creation, so to speak. You kind of want to keep them all centralized. And Richard Donner, the director, did a great job of doing that. And it's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Hey, baby ghoul, that long winding road led us to this field, this, I'm not entirely sure what it is because everything is shrouded in mist. What do you have there?
Can you read Spanish?
I can try. Let's
It's
see
in
here.
cursive.
It's in cursive?
Matt, I'm gonna need you to translate the map because I don't understand Spanish.
10 times 10, that equals 100. 100 yards to the tree.
Diaz?
They say Diaz.
What does that mean?
10 times 10.
100.
Yeah.
100.
And that's where you'll find the tree.
The tree, the red stuff.
The tree, the red stuff. That's it.
Wait a second. I know where we're at. Look, here's another marker that says the Goonies 1985. This park features prominently in the Goonies along with locations in Astoria and Cannon Beach. The Fratelli family's hideout, the Lighthouse Lounge, was temporarily constructed at Ecola Point, and Mikey used the rocky coastline here to gain clues to the location of One-Eyed Willie's treasure. All right, so we're gonna go over there in just a moment. Gonna try to let the mist let up so we can see some things and show you guys, but this is it. I can't believe we're standing here and this is the weather we have. Oh my gosh. To find the real location of the Fratelli hideout, you kind of have to get off the path a little bit and get a little dirty. Right now where I'm standing, you see this tree? You can see this in the movie, which means the Fratelli hideout would have been up over that hill. The Goonies walk right down this embankment through these weeds. I point out that tree because we know for a fact that they filmed the Fratelli hideout scene here in this park, and no other tree or anywhere near here looks anything like it. It's very distinct, it's very old and very decrepit, and in fact it kind of looks like some sort of weird ghostly goblin just hanging out in the weeds. Now what's cool about this is right next to it is this pathway, and it leads up to the building that a lot of people think is the Fratelli hideout, but it's really not. It doesn't even look anything like it. It looks like there is a pathway closed off that leads over to the ocean. It says absolutely no entry, active landslide, which we don't want to mess with. We're not going to be crossing it, but it is rather neat that you can actually get up close to it. Now there's another scene from the Goonies that was filmed over here where Jessica is standing, overlooking the water. And we can't really see anything right now, so we're gonna hang out for a little bit and see if the fog lifts, if the sun comes out and burns away the fog, hoping it does. Here's another active landslide sign. You can't really see the rocks. I'm hoping that the fog lifts a little bit.
Well, this is the weather that they had in the Goonies. If you go back and look at the film, everything is covered in mist. It looks like it's been raining. The clouds are really thick. It's just they had better visibility that day than we do now.
I will say this, I've never been to a filming location for any movie that had this many people coming to visit it. I mean, pretty much everywhere we went here in Astoria and here in Cannon Beach, there have been people with cameras visiting the Goonies. Should I tell them that that's not where the hideout was? It wasn't there, even though there's a building just across the way. Over there is where the Fratelli hideout restaurant was. And one of the most memorable scenes in the Goonies, at least for me, is when the Goonies drag their bikes up this hill right here to about where I am standing. And you can see those rocks out in the water right behind them. They stop right here, and Mikey pulls out the medallion and he faces this way to line up the restaurant, Haystack Rock, and I think that's it. Now the interesting thing about where Mikey was holding the medallion and what he was looking through, if you look very closely in the scene at the medallion, it's a matte painting. But in real life, the Fratelli hideout, the restaurant, would have been over there, and where this tree is, you can't see it, but you can't see the ocean from here. So the Haystack Rock that's down in the water, which is actually a lot further down the beach, it's not here. Just a little movie magic. And with that, we have to get back on the road because we have more filming locations to visit before our trip is through. I wish we could take this tree home with us, but But sadly, I have to leave it for other Goonies fans. Till next time. Just look how peaceful this is. Right now, we're along the coast, probably about an hour and a half north of San Francisco in a place called Goat Beach. This is where they filmed the ending scenes of the Goonies. As picturesque as this is only the entrance, the road that gets you down to Goat Beach. Got a little bit of a drive, but it's not much. So just looking down over the cliff, without even getting down there and lining up shots, I can already tell you that this is the spot for sure. Because in the movie, we're gonna be pointing it out. You can see this rock right there in that little entryway, that little hole. But standing over here, oh man, you know how I love looking over cliffs and getting dangerously close to things. Oh God, there's birds. We got to get down to that parking lot. We're pretty high up here. But this is it. Pretty wild. Pretty wild to be standing here. There is absolutely zero reception down here along the coast, which is okay, because we got still pictures to line up. Well, for us to use as reference. Usually whenever we come to a place like this, I have the clips from the movie so I can line it up perfectly and which way the camera angles move. So today, this portion, we're gonna be working off of still images. I think it'll work. I think it'll be just fine. Looks like the first scene that we're gonna line up is over here. You see this giant rock that's ahead? Maybe it'll look familiar, but you'll see once we get over there and into position. A lot has definitely changed since 1985, but that giant rock on the right-hand side can be seen clear as day. The two on the left, however, a little harder to see now, but back in 1985, you could see a lot more of them. There's a lot more sand and rock here covering it up. But in this scene, the two people on the quads would have been coming right through this area towards where I am standing. This is completely blowing my mind. I can't believe that we're here, that we're walking this beach. Oh yeah, this is it. Oh, you guys are gonna love this. I think this is as close as we're gonna get to the actual shot. Now the Goonies would have been walking towards where I'm standing, coming this way right here. You can see all these rocks. That rock there, this rock, the split rocks right there, and then this little formation on the left-hand side of the rock with the hole in it in the background. This is it. It's crazy to think that the rock with the split in it is still here. Like it hasn't like eroded over time or fallen over for some reason. I mean, we've seen it happen, but it's still here. The very next scene, they do this close-up of the Goonies walking down the beach, and it's right over there. We're gonna get as close as we can. It's this weird depth of field Hollywood movie magic, and you can see these rocks way in the background. I'm gonna do our best to show them to you. Now you see this rock right here? In this scene, the close-up of the Goonies walking, you can see that on the left-hand side. The Goonies would have been right here. Now the rocks that can be seen in a close-up with the depth of field are these ones right back there. Give you a moment to look at it, let it compute, and then I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. Now pay attention to those rocks in this scene. We keep seeing these tube-like things all along the beach here. We have no idea what they are. But there's a really big bundle, like a bunch of them over here. I mean, is it just seaweed?
I guess so.
I guess it's just seaweed.
The plants that seaweed comes out of, you see the seaweed in the water, but you don't see the bulb of the plant. Looks like a giant pile of worms or snakes.
Right? It's like spaghetti noodle bamboo. Right? Are you gonna touch one? You touched the butt. right?
Like a,
Crazy cool.
feels like rubber.
Jessica and I were just talking about how nice it is to actually be able to walk a beach in California and not have people everywhere, like down in Venice Beach. Even Leo Carrillo Beach, where they filmed Karate Kid and a bunch of other movies. Pretty darn relaxing. Right now, I'm geeking out in a way I never thought was imaginable. I am standing in the exact spot where the Goonies were sitting, and behind me, the rock formation out in the water, this is the viewpoint that they would have had when they saw One-Eyed Willie's ship go out into the ocean. Now, in order for me to show you this properly, I have to get behind the camera. I have to do a little bit of zooming, so bear with me. All right, so looking at this exact shot, you see the rock formation out in the right? Here, let me zoom in a little bit. And I'd say to probably right about there. So the Goonies would have been sitting right here, and over top of their shoulders, you'll see that rock formation with the hole in it. That's off to the right. And then over to the left, you see the slope of the mountain? It comes down. Those rocks line up perfectly. Hey, Jessica, that means you and I are sitting in the exact spot where the Goonies were sitting when they watched One-Eyed Willie's ship go out into the ocean. How cool is that? Well, the Goonies were sitting here. Sloth was standing over to the right. Brand and everybody else was behind them and off to Sloth's right. But this is it. Does it get any cooler than this? She's taking a picture. That's it. Save it to memory. You know, we are recording this.
No, it's just you can line it up perfectly,
right?
Just by being here.
Goonies never say die. And with that being said, thank you guys for joining us on another Grimm adventure. This time to the Goondocks in Astoria, Oregon, and Goat Beach in California. Did you ever think that we'd visit a place like this?
No, I never thought I would ever get to see the Goonies Beach. I mean,
this is cool.
This is mind-boggling, magical.
Happy Halloween, everyone. Happy Halloween.
I never thought in my whole lifetime that I would see a seal come up onto the beach to sun itself. I mean, it blew my mind when we saw the sea lions and Santa Cruz on that little raft that was built for them by the docks. Like,
but this is out in the wild.
This is, it's just...
It's crazy, right? Look at him.
The sun touched his feet, and the water touched his feet, and he's like, no more water.
He looks so young.
Sun only. He does look so young, like a little baby. So I wonder if he's going to have more family that shows up.
Right, like he's ahead of the game. Mm-hmm. He's like, all right, guys, I'll meet you there.
I keep expecting like a bigger mom or something to show up. Oh, there's a giant lizard.
You know what? I think we should name him.
What would you name him?
What should we name the chunky seal laying on the beach?
Chunk.
Well, let's call him Chunk.
Hi, Chunk.
How you doing, Chunk?
Oh, little baby.
Wherever I come, bad luck just comes my way. Wherever I go, hard luck is there to stay. Good luck never stays a day. Bad luck's always coming my way.